Welcome back to the 2015 World Championship quarterfinals, where Fnatic is up 1-0 over EDG after that explosive first game. And here they are headed back to the stage, getting ready for Game 2. But of course, before we get into Game 2, we have an issue on which we need to apologize. Last week, during an Ask the Desk segment, we got a question from Je suis Pepe Le Pew, who asked how to deal with double or even triple TP comps. And we were a little dismissive of the prospect of a triple TP comp, and lo and behold, it has come to pass that one exists. So first off, I sincerely apologize on behalf of my analysts for being so dismissive of that. Secondly, there was a pretty fabulous example from Fnatic of how exactly to deal with a triple TP comp or even a 4 global comp in this game.
I think you just pulled that tweet back up just to say his name again. But anyway, when this tweet did come up, my response was hard engage. You come in there with hard engage, but what Fnatic does here is not only do they have hard engage, they cover the TP zones. The gravity field will come down on a TP area, and they also have Reckless's ultimate on a TP here. Look at that gravity field come down. Coral says, nope, I'm not coming in there, stops the TP, and then it becomes this centered fight for Fnatic where they are grouped up and the TPs are not. And when you have this many TPs on members, you're actually losing in-combat summoner spells. You're lacking 3 of them when you could have more power in these team fights. And when you look at EDG's types of statistics, they are actually #1 in assists per kill of quarterfinal teams, which is indicative of team fighting, which is their tendency to want to do that. But when you don't have those summoner spells, you're weaker in these fights.
All right, well, moving on to Game 2, but keeping in mind all the craziness of Game 1, both in the champion picks that we saw, as well as the back and forth explosive nature of that game. What are we looking for in terms of changes, adjustments that these teams are going to make coming into Game 2? Yamato.
It is like, I'm looking at EDG for starters. Like, they had this strategy, like, it's like this business plan, this joke that is going around. Like, they do something the early game, then there's a question mark, and then there's profit. The question mark, I thought, okay, maybe they're going to poke with the Jace, which is hard against the Jarvan. Maybe they will split push with this triple TP going on, which is also hard against Jarvan with Jace later on. And that is where I find the flaw. They had this idea of an early game where Clearlove just manhandled Reignover, which worked, and they came out ahead. But later on, what were they supposed to do? I don't see it. It would have been just so much simpler with a Tristana that had some disengage going on, you know? That's what I can see, like the question mark getting filled in.
I completely agree with the sentiment behind what you're saying. And first of all, if we change nothing and just get 3 to 5 games of exactly that, like, I'm the happiest man in the world. That was so fun to watch.
But that would mean EDG loses.
I don't.
5 games.
That's fine. That's fine. But to your point, I actually think that we saw in the top lane team fight exactly what EDG wanted. What they wanted was to create some like chaos and then force decisions. We keep talking about this. And if they had have actually just sent Thresh after the Victor, after they won that top lane team fight, they had 2 teleports available. I actually feel that they forced the decision. They sieged top lane turret. That was a wrong decision out of Fnatic. They needed to wait for the creep waves. Bottom lane had been set up for a slow push. Jace had a Trinity Force at that stage for no other reason apart from backdooring. And there was a Fiora that completely wrecks turrets. They honestly could have nearly stolen a win there after what turned out to be a very decisive victory for Fnatic after about the 19-minute mark.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a play that you have to go back and look at, because there was an opportunity for EDG to just flat out end the game after it, and they did not do that, and that might keep them up a little bit at night. They have to shake that off, get refocused. They have to use that TP on Deft.
One thing
I will say,
I have to keep us moving forward. So is that the final thing you have?
Yeah, you have to use it if you're going to bring it. Use it effectively.
All right, well, it's time to get back on the Rift. As we step back inside the venue, EDG's jungler explains Fnatic shouldn't expect to face the same Clearlove they saw compete in the group stage.
在 S5的小组赛里面吧，就是我觉得我自己的表现很一般，就是没有什么特别出彩的地方，也没有说打得很不好的地方，我感觉表现得很一般吧。 就也有我自己生病的原因在里面，所以说8强的时候我会表现出来一个另外不一样的我，会表现出，会拿出更多的英雄，然后会打出开局的表现。